Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to this week's 5-Minute Sunday School. This week, I'm going to tell you a story about Jesus and an adventure, a boat trip he took across a lake with his disciples. So after a really long day of preaching and answering questions, Jesus and his disciples returned home across the lake on their boat. As they set off, the weather looked good. But on the journey, it suddenly turned. Now, they couldn't forecast the weather. They didn't have mobile phones and weather reports to trust. So they had no idea the storm was coming, and it came. So the wind started lashing the boat, and rain poured, and it was terrible. And the waves took over the boat, and the disciples were terrified. But all this while, Jesus slept. He'd been very tired. He'd had a very long day. But the disciples couldn't understand why Jesus was sleeping. And they said to him, "Are you not afraid that you will die?" And Jesus, rather than panicking, like you or I possibly would, he stood up and he told the waves and the wind to be still. And after a short while, those waves and that wind did as he told them to. They calmed, and calm and peace were restored. Now, what does that story tell us? Well, it tells us a lot of things. It tells us, first of all, that Jesus' powers are limitless. There is no end to his powers. And it also tells us that because Jesus is God, that God is love, and God doesn't want to harm us, and God doesn't want to hurt us, but God wants to protect us. And sometimes when we're in a storm, when things are a bit rocky for us, when things feel as though they're going a little bit wrong, it can be very easy to give up. And what this reading teaches us is that we shouldn't give up. We should trust in God, we should trust in Jesus, and we should ask them to calm our storm. We should ask them for peace. And sometimes that peace won't come straight away. Sometimes that peace will take a long time. I remember asking with my family just over a year ago now for COVID to come to an end and wanting lockdown to be over. And it's taken over a year, well over a year now, for some sort of peace and some sort of normality to be returned and restored to us. But it has. And like me, I'm sure you and your family kept the faith. And at times it was difficult. At times it felt like this was never going to end. But it has, and it is. It's not quite there yet, but we're certainly on the home straight. Things are getting a lot easier. And it's because we've had this faith, and it's because we've had this trust in God that he will stay with us, and that he will calm those storms, and he will calm those choppy waters, that we're all still here and we've all held on, and in many ways we're stronger for it as well. Now, what I thought we could do this week is have a little go at making an origami boat. So I'm going to make a boat with you, and the origami boat is going to be made through a process of folding paper. So I have here an A4 piece of plain paper. It doesn't have to be fancy paper at all. A piece of A4 paper will do. And I'm just going to show you the simple folds that you need to do in order to make your origami boat. So we're going to start first of all by folding the paper in half. And then when you folded your paper in half, you're going to make that fold nice and tight. So really squeezing that, really pushing that down. Then you're going to fold your paper over once again. So fold it in half again. So you folded it in half and then in half again. So from this to this. Now you're going to make some doggy ears. So this is a little bit like making a paper aeroplane. So you're just going to fold the corners down like this. So now you've formed two triangles. So your two triangles. So again, you've gone from this to this shape. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to fold the bottom up on both sides. So using again that same process of folding up and then pushing down so you have a nice strong crease. We're going to go this way and then turn your paper over and you're going to fold up one more time. This way. Okay, now at the ends, we just want to make sure that these little pieces here at the ends, that they're tucked in nice and neatly. So we're going to fold that one that way. And then we're going to do the same to the other side. We're just going to tuck them in nice and neatly underneath each other. Okay, so you should have this shape. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hold on to the sides and we're going to pull. So we now have this shape, which is a square. Okay, so you can see this is what we had before, and this is what we have now. Okay, so at this stage, what we're going to do is, again, we're going to fold up into another triangle. Okay, so like this. And then we're going to do the same again on the other side. Again, like this. Okay, so you have the triangle, triangle. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to take my shape and I'm just going to push it this way. So this time I have a nice diamond shape. Like this. And I'm just very gently going to pull like this. Okay, now this you just need to just uncrease it a little bit. That's why you needed those really tight folds to make sure it all fits together very nicely. So we're going to pull it out like this and pop the sail up. And there we go. You have your origami boat. So here's one I made earlier. There's another one. And there's another one here. And you know what? If your boat doesn't look exactly the same as mine, that's fine. All three of my boats look a little bit different. But the idea is that we're trying to recreate the boat that Jesus took, that kept him safe and the disciples as they traveled across that lake. And why did it keep them safe? Because they kept their faith. They kept their faith in God, they kept their faith in Jesus, and they remembered that they were loved and that they would be looked after, just like all of us. So, boys and girls, this is the final Sunday school on YouTube during lockdown. Let's hope it is. And we really hope you've enjoyed all of the Sunday school installments. It's been a different way of learning, and it's been a different way of attending church for all of us. But the message is, like Jesus and like the disciples eventually on board the boat, we've all kept our faith and we've trusted in God. And it took a little bit longer than it took on board the boat for Jesus and the disciples, but we are reaching the end of our journey of lockdown, and in God we must trust and be thankful and grateful for. So God bless everyone. Enjoy your Sunday and hopefully see you soon. Bye bye and take care.